Okay, shall we continue, my lovely anatomy PNF friends? All right, so now we've learned all of the intrinsic muscles of the feet. Now we're going to learn the PNF patterns of the feet to help get those intrinsic muscles firing up right away in one full swoop, nice and easy. Okay? So I'm going to just give a little explanation about what the PNF patterns are and how they work before we get into the actual patterns. All right? So if hopefully you read what's in your handout. So PNF stands for proprioceptive neuromuscular facilitation. Okay, and these patterns were developed out by a doctor named Herman Kabat during the 40s, and he really started working with these patterns with polio patients. Okay, he was a physician as well as a neurologist. All right, up until that point, everything had been in a two-dimensional plane, so flexion and extension, adduction, but nothing on what biomechanists call the oblique plane or a three-dimensional pattern. Unfortunately, that is a lot of how physical therapy is still done today, but these patterns are also incorporated into physical therapy practice now, and there are physical therapists who use these patterns in their practice. They use them differently than the way that we use them, but these are actually a physical therapy pattern that is used. Okay? So what is PNF? It's a method of promoting or hastening the response of the neuromuscular mechanism through stimulation of our proprioceptors. Okay, so it's making your muscles work by using proprioceptors that are already in the muscles to make them work better and more efficiently. Okay, so in summary, the patterns are taking our muscles in a three-dimensional pattern from a complete stretch to a complete contract, and that fires up our Golgi Tendon Apparatus along with our stretch reflex to trick our muscles into working if they're not working. All right, I'm going to explain what that means. So first thing, what is a Golgi Tendon Apparatus, you may ask? Anne is like, I don't know what you just said about any of that. Okay, where's my tape? I put it away. That was smart, wasn't it? We will use our bustling biceps as an example. So here's our bicep muscle, and we're just going to pretend like there's only one head. Thank you, she got my joke. No one else did. So we're going to pretend, sorry. Again, I admit to my nerdism. We'll pretend this is our bicep, right? So our bicep does this, and it does this. The red part is going to be the muscle belly, so that's the part that contracts or makes it get shorter, or come together, I should really say. This is going to be our tendon, all right? So the muscle belly fills out and it comes down into a tendon. Whenever a muscle connects to a bone, it connects via a tendon. The tendon does not have a contractile component. Is this registering with everyone? Yes, okay, we're good. So this is the muscle belly part, these are the tendon parts. In these tendon parts, there's little thingies called Golgi Tendon Apparatus. May I have a pen? Hope you're enjoying this. You're enjoying this. It's better than the video, right? I'm so much more entertaining. So, I have a TV show. So, there's little thingies called Golgi Tendon Apparatus, all right? So when the Golgi Tendon Apparatus are stimulated by a contraction, it sends little signals to the other side to say stretch. Let me make sure I'm explaining this right. I'm sorry, to relax, not stretch, relax. So here we go. We contract our bustling biceps, and our little Golgi tendons in our tendons say, bicep, you need to relax. So then it helps to tell this muscle to relax. Part A of the scenario, all right? So when these are contracted, it'll tell the muscle to relax. On the other side, we have our triceps, okay? I may need help, but they roughly go up in here and go down, cross our elbow. And we're gonna pretend like there's only one head, even though there's three, all right? See, it's funny if you know what I'm saying. Where's my gray tape? It's anatomy humor, kids. Again, it has a tendon. Three sets of tendons, actually. Inside of the muscle belly, it has a thing called muscle spindles. Okay? These are organs in a muscle that when you stretch, force the muscle to activate. So when you stretch your tricep, all right, it tells that muscle to contract. Is this making sense? And it's
the same thing as telling it to do the opposite, right?
bingo. Because we're supposed to work in an equal balance back and forth, and so the balance of the front muscles to the back muscles will cause not one to work more than the other. And so it's a constant give and take of these things happening, as well as it's kind of like this bounce reflex that happens. So it would happen in the bicep, the Golgi tendons, you contract it, it says to relax, and then you relax it, and the muscle spindles tell it to contract. So it can keep the muscle working and have
what we're going to understand. You don't have to understand why.
How we can use it within the PNF patterns is if something is not activating, you do these patterns which trigger these responses, which will cause the muscle to activate if it is underactivated, or it will cause the muscle to stretch if it's overly contracted. Therefore, it tricks the muscles into working without really having to do much. And it's magical. It's really quite magical, and it works really well. Okay? Okay, good. So this happens in a three-dimensional pattern, all right? It's not just the bicep and the tricep, but when you do the patterns, you get all of the muscles working in a three-dimensional spiral, and it helps to create the proper arthrokinematics within the joint. So when arthrokinematics are how the movement happens within the socket of the joint, and there's specific ranges that they're supposed to happen in, and when muscles are overly tight or overly flexible and not rolling properly, it causes problems within the arthrokinematics. And so this is one of the ways that will help to balance that out without having to do brain surgery. We're going to learn the PNF patterns of the feet. And what the PNF patterns of the feet do is they trick the intrinsic muscles of the feet that we just all learned to working much more efficiently in the way that they're supposed to move without having to do brain surgery or do each muscle individually, which we've just been trying to do. See, I've already solved all your problems before you even walked in the door. I'm brilliant. Just kidding. Okay, I know, but see, you're here to understand why we're doing what we're doing, okay? So we're gonna use the muscle spindles and the Golgi tendon organs to help the muscles contract and relax in a three-dimensional pattern to make them work better. Are we ready? Okay, take a deep breath.